So first of all, a warm hello and a very good evening to all of you who joined us today for this first in a series of discussions on the role of art, culture, and heritage in education, especially in schools. Through this series of discussions, we first attempt to broadly define what art integrated learning is and why it is especially relevant today, along with the challenges faced by schools in its implementation. Using this as a foundation in this series, we'll further move on to exploring art education in itself and the need for an integrated cultural curriculum for school and higher education. In these discussions, you will be meeting and hearing individuals and organizations who have a great depth of experience in a wide variety of domains surrounding children, young adults, and education. This series of discussions is brought to you by Sahapedia in partnership with TCS ION. Our outreach partners for this series are Flow and Culture, so a big shout out to them. I would like to start with a few words about Sahapedia before I move on to the topic for the day. Sahapedia is an open encyclopedic resource on the arts, culture, and histories of India. Sahapedia offers digital content in multimedia format, articles and books, photo essays and video, interviews, and much more. Along with that, Sahapedia's India Heritage Box is also India's premier heritage experiences platform, with experiences for a variety of audiences, including students, across 80 plus locations in the country. We've been doing this for 3 years. Sahapedia also works with schools and higher educational institutions in the space of heritage and cultural education, as well as physical experiences. Now, recognizing challenges in offering sensitized and contextual learning to students, Sahapedia is beginning this conversation on the preparedness of schools, teachers, students, parents, and support organizations for offering art integrated learning to begin with. Through our discussion today, which is titled Decoding Art Integrated Learning, we'll attempt to unravel what art integrated learning is and how schools are engaging with this pedagogical style. At this point, I'm pleased to introduce our panel for today. We have with us Dr. Pavan Sudhir. Dr. Sudhir heads the Department of Education in Arts and Aesthetics in NCERT. NCERT, for those of you who don't know, is the National Council of Educational Research and Training and a nodal organization for the creation of curriculum and training of teachers. Her role is that of curriculum planner, material developer, teacher, educator, researcher, and educational administrator. One of the key movers behind art integrated learning as a pedagogy, she initiated this at elementary levels of school education back in the year 2010. This initiative has now kicked off with various circulars by CBSE, which we are going to talk about today. We also have with us Ms. Radhika Bharatram. Ms. Radhika Bharatram is the Joint Vice Chairperson of the Shri Ram Schools. Under the aegis of Shri Educare Limited, an education consultancy company, she has been instrumental in setting up the Shri Ram Millennium Schools in Delhi NCR, as well as the Shri Ram Early Years. She also serves as the chairperson of the Indian Blind Sports Association and the JPM Senior Secondary School for the Blind. She is also the Joint Secretary of the Blind Relief Association and the Honorable General Secretary of the Delhi Drafts Council. We are also pleased to have with us Ms. Supriti. Ms. Supriti has been associated with SPICMACAY, which stands for the Society for the Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture amongst Youth. SPICMACAY is an organization that most of us are possibly familiar with. Ms. Supriti joined SPICMACAY as a master's student back in the 80s and has served as the National Vice Chairperson as well as a member of the National Executive over the years. Her career as a diversity and inclusion consultant spans 2 decades, and her clients include reputed Indian and foreign companies. Before that, she taught economics at the National Law School of India, University in Bangalore. She's written many articles and co-authored a 2-volume book on urban poverty alleviation with Sharon Barnhart from Princeton University and Ramesh Ramanathan. She's been invited to speak at many fora, including UN Women in New York. My very warm welcome to all of the panelists today. I'll simply begin this off by asking my first question to Dr. Pavan Sudhir from NCERT. Dr. Sudhir, a very basic question to begin with. What is art integrated learning? And can you please help us understand how it differs from art education. Over to you, man.
Hello, Abhinav. And before I start with the answer, I must like to put on record my humble gratitude for the Sahapedia for opening the web series with this kind of discussion where you already have some personalities like from Sri Ram Radhika is there, Supriti from Speak Make. Both the institutions are really doing a lot in this area. So it's great that Sahapedia recognizes it and opens up this webinar with art integrated learning, rather saying it decoding art integrated learning. As all of us know that NCERT has a role in policy making, curriculum development, textbooks, research based programs. We are doing this for ages. And in every curriculum, NCERT has put a strong focus on arts and arts education as a subject. But we realize that arts education as a subject has really never picked up. But with NCF 2005, things became very, very clear. You can see a very clear line on art as subject and art integrated learning as an approach. So if you see our focus group paper, the national curriculum framework is based on a certain number of focus paper, and there is one particular focus group paper which is dedicated to arts, another is dedicated to heritage craft. So both now in the new curriculum, we are going to club the both. But if you see the NCF 2005, you will see that we have left nothing untouched. We have really tried to bring everything on board on the name of arts education and heritage craft. In national curriculum framework, there were one page dedicated to arts across the school curriculum, and clearly mentioned that the purpose of this would be learning through the arts. So that gave me the opportunity to take it forward. So with my team, I launched this program, Art Integrated Learning. And as it is with our strategy that elementary level is the first level where we should talk of these things, because that is where teachers need to understand the role of arts. If once they understand, if children are given that kind of opportunity at primary and upper primary level, then I think at secondary and senior secondary level, they learn to learn. You don't have to really push them towards particular art form, or towards practicing it as hobby, or not taking or opting for arts as a subject. So all that at secondary and senior secondary level, we thought will be in the next step, but first would be elementary level. So when we did this in 2014, we started in 2010, but the field research to pilot the training program for teachers, to pilot this all over the country, because we in NCERT we cannot publish any material unless this is piloted or field tested in our 5 regions. So I had to go across the regions and test it in all our low profile schools like government schools, and in government schools also those schools where we do not have more than 2 teachers and we do not have resources. Because the other schools, like schools in Delhi, even if it's municipal corporation school, we found that they are better than many government schools in the states. So we try to go to those kind of schools, and we kept on improving, modifying, and in 2014 finally, after 4 years, we were able to launch the program and the package. And the package had this kind of training is in 2 volumes. So this is there on our website. Is like PDF file is there, so you can download from there if the viewers really want to see that what exactly we were offering in this particular document. Then came the Nishtha program last year, and when we started with Nishtha, we found that states are bothered about pedagogy more than the content teaching, because teachers are trained, they are graduate, postgraduate in their subjects, so they really don't need to learn content from us, and we have textbooks, we have syllabi, so they refer to that and they go ahead. But when it comes to experiential learning, joyful environment, joyful learning environment in the school, they did not know what to do, because in their training period they were trained on traditional methods. So states requested us to give them this pedagogy, which we are again and again talking about, that there has to be experiential learning, make your school joyful. And that is where MHRD and NCRT decided to create guidelines on art integrated learning. This is another document, and we have the English and Hindi version. Again, these two documents are there on the website, so our viewers can refer to it. And with this program, Nishtha, we have reached 33 states already and covered approximately 15 million teachers at elementary level. You know that in India, the numbers are always big. And what we started with, we had 10 days training program for the teachers, but with Nishta, we reduced it to 2 sessions. Of course, from 2014 to 2019, we have covered a lot of distance. So from 10 days, we brought down to 5 days, from 5 days to 3 days. And then we realized that, because earlier we were giving them training on art education also, because teachers immediately would say that you want us to use arts as pedagogy, but how do? We don't know how to do arts. We are general teachers, because up to primary level, and somewhere in some states even up to 7th standard, a general teacher is teaching all the subjects. So we were giving art education to them first, and then we were telling them how to go for art integrated learning. But we realized later on that even if a teacher doesn't know how to paint, how to do role play, how to sing, how to play, still art integrated learning is possible, because what we need in the classroom is the environment, the opportunity for the child to go for art experience, and teachers are there just to plan the activity. Once the activities are planned, children can be given this activity, and they will get involved, because teacher is scared of doing artwork, but children are not. We found that wherever teacher were trained in arts, students were not left free to explore the art forms, because teachers would like to guide children on the skill part of it. And we were bothered not about the skill part of it, but the joy of getting into art experience, exploring it, and trying all kind of experimentation, and then express through that. And teachers job in art integrated learning was that when children are given this experience, they do certain things, you quietly observe and facilitate them, and see what from the art experience can be linked and connected to the concept learning or the content learning. And you have to bother about particular competencies which we are writing, like learning outcomes of NCRT, you all are aware. So that is totally competency based. So our purpose was that teacher is a facilitator and not a trainer there to teach art forms. So now we have reached that state that in two particular session, like 4 to 5 hours, we are able to introduce art integrated learning to our general teachers, and they are so happy. They have already started bombarding us with so many videos that we did this with our teachers in training, we did this with our students, and now they are trying it in online platform also. So yeah, coming to art integrated learning, if I put it in straight words, then it's a teaching learning model which is based on learning through arts. And when we say arts, we talk of visual, all kind of visual arts and all kind of performing arts. Uh, no discrimination or choice of taking particular art form and leaving the other art form. Art here becomes the medium of teaching and learning. So teachers, as I said, that they are clearly told that you are not an artist, you just have to promote it as a medium and children will do it. Now, we realize that art integrated learning provides students with equitable learning environment to learn at their pace, because when they are doing it in a traditional manner, there we have a tendency, our teachers have a mindset and a tendency to ask every child to go at the given pace, whereas the moment you switch over to art integrated learning, where the process is more important than the product, then children are, even if they are painting an elephant blue or green or yellow, nobody is minding. One child is slightly slow with the visuals, doing drawings or painting, we don't mind, because teacher is there to just facilitate and encourage the children, and not looking at the skill part of art that children are doing. So there we realize that even those children who are with special need, they are the one who gradually started coming in the front row, because earlier they did not have space in the classroom, because in many things they were not able to respond the way other children, the general category, the average children were doing. These children were not present in the responses. So we found that in art integrated learning, they also came in front, and they physically shifted their seats towards front, towards the teacher, because now they had something to share and to tell our teachers that yes, we did it and we can do better. Then we because I should not go more than 10 minutes, so I'll try to just skip few things. Then we found that this approach brings vibrancy of different socio-cultural background of our children, because we are saying that when children are involved in art, try to promote and encourage children to go for art forms which they see every day in their own surrounding. And the folk art, the regional art forms are the best that way, because children know it, they have the vocabulary of that art form, and even they can discuss this with the parents. So it was a very good beginning to bring our different kind of social background, cultural background to the school, and teachers started getting enriched by these experience of our communities coming to our school. Then to call it, because we always say art integrated learning is a holistic learning approach. So talking of holistic, uh, we we say that children need to experience process rather than strive only for a prefixed goal. So prefixed goal, what we were doing earlier. Then we said that it is three domains together: the cognitive domain, the psychomotor domain, the affective domain. Because earlier our people were calling it co-curricular area, where they thought that our children are just involved in the psychomotor activity, cognitive was kept aside. But after researches, and now there is hundreds of researches all over the world, where it is being clearly stated that is no other approach can be as cognitive as art integrated learning. because here children are really given freedom to explore all area, cognitive, psychomotor, of course it is, and affective, where art is, the application part of the art is being taken care, and we are linking it with the subject and all. So here that is there. Then another thing that we found is very important with the art integrated learning, that is interdisciplinary connections, because here if a child is given one particular exercise where the child is experiencing clay or experiencing color on the paper, we see that uh, is not one for example, I'll give you one small example because that will make viewer and listener to get it clear. In our school, I visited and I saw that art integrated learning is happening, and our teacher has given one clay modeling activity to the children, and she said we will prepare one denture, हम जो है जबड़ा बनाएंगे। तो बच्चों को जबड़ा बनाना है तो क्ले भी उन्होंने वहीं से स्कूल की ही क्यारी से बनाई, एंड देन दे वाज सेड that either there is thermocol, but thermocol is not good, so you can search for other kind of material to use it as teeth. So with the teacher in this particular approach, we tell teachers, do not just be ready with the answer, try to create problems and be in the background, let children explore, brainstorm and come out with the answer, because that is the whole cognitive development which is happening through this area. So children and teacher took a round of the school, and they found that gravel, because there was some construction going on in the school and gravel was lying there. So they picked up gravel, that this looks like a tooth, and if it is a tooth we can fix it. So they brought the pieces of gravel and they started fixing it on the clay denture, and they created it. And teacher was because this is what the role of teacher is, that you have to see how, where the tooth, which particular tooth is where has is to be placed. So you are made teams, there is one person who will open the mouth, the other will look at the teeth and then do it. So they did this exercise in a team of two students, and it was an amazing experience for me, where I was just learning from this teacher that how she is doing art integrated learning. Children made a different kind of denture, and then she had one puppet on her hand. She said, now this puppet, who is Sonu, she doesn't know that which denture is good, and what you are doing through this denture. So wherever the Sonu asks a question, you have to answer. So she went around to all the benches, and Sonu will ask, तुम्हारे दांत में ये काला क्या लगा है? तो children started responding, अरे तुम्हें नहीं पता, मेरे दोस्त के यहाँ पे एक दांत है वो काला है, एक दांत है वो छोटा है, एक दांत है ही नहीं. And so much discussion went on. सोनू ने बोला, तो तुम्हारा ये दांत कैसे खराब हुआ, उस बच्चे से पूछा. तो वो बच्चा तो जवाब नहीं देता है, दूसरा बच्चा बोलता है इसने चॉकलेट खाया होगा. टीचर इज नॉट सेइंग एनीथिंग, शी इज जस्ट पोजिंग क्वेश्चन, दैट आल्सो विद द puppet. And for half an hour I was observing this, and I found that what I have written sitting in NCERT maybe need to be modified, because teacher is doing much better than us. She is doing assessment, she is testing how much children know, and उसके बाद वो अपना lesson बढ़ा रही है, and वो सब करके she comes to the lesson. She says, look, in your particular chapter डेंचर में बताया है 32 टीथ होते हैं, तो आपने क्या देखा? तो बच्चे बोले कि 32 तो हमारे में से किसी के भी नहीं है. यू सी, दिस इज नॉट गिवन इन एनसीईआरटी बुक, एंड चिल्ड्रन फाउंड इट आउट. सो समटाइम्स जो टीचर है उसका एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन and the way she is approaching to the children, a fearless environment, a non-judgmental environment where every child is free to talk, where every child is expressing herself or himself, वो मैंने देखा कि हम आर्ट इंटीग्रेटेड लर्निंग से कर पा रहे थे. तो आई फील दैट with this kind of example and my bit of explanation on the art integrated learning, I'm able to explain to the viewer that art integrated learning is a pedagogy, is an approach to teach and learn, where teacher becomes a facilitator and learner is at the center of learning. So the actual child centered learning approach, and the children learn through their experiences, and teacher is just looking at it where to connect what to make children understand the abstract concepts of the subject, especially the mathematics and science, even grammar in the language, that how teachers are doing. So in our material we are having planned sessions also by the teachers how to go about it. So for the more details we can go there. Now coming to art education, I don't have to talk much on art education because art education is a subject, it's a curricular area, and CBSE is already offering it because they follow the NCRT curriculum in totality. So they promote it as a subject. So art education is one of the subject from class 1 to 10. And at 11th and 12th, we all know that it's a choice based. So you can take arts as elective subject or not. So when we talk of arts education up to 8th standard, the art education means that visual and performing arts are together. And we have tried in our curriculum that the themes and the subject for arts education is what our subjects are offering, so that child doesn't have to do the repetition or do extra work. Rather, we integrate it. So there also we have made it very clear that the title or the themes or the content has to come from the subjects. And when we our children reach 9th and 10th, then they are given freedom either to take performing art where music, theater and dance is there, or they can go for visual art where painting and sculpture is being offered. So one child
So I think Dr. Sudhi's connection has broken down. We will work with her on the back end to get her online soon again. But I think that quite well sums up on Dr. Sudhi's part as to the differences between art integrated learning and art education. I'll use this opportunity to go to you now, to you know, Ms. Radhika Bharatram. My question to you would be, the Sri Ram chain of schools is well known uh, to have integrated arts in their learning. It's part of their DNA. It's part of your DNA at the Sri Ram chain of schools. And at the same time, so most of your schools, like Dr. Sudhi was talking about CBSE, most of your schools are actually affiliated to ICSE.
yeah, something happened and I think for a few seconds I was offline. Yeah, so I think art education as a subject I have made clear, and our viewers may not need more than this. This is part of the curriculum, and if more I have to talk, then I would just add two lines that the national policy on education, which is a draft 2019, very clearly mentioned that art education is a curricular area. And well, they are saying all areas are curricular, there is no co-curricular or extracurricular, so art is one of the subjects. One good thing has happened that they have clearly mentioned that even at higher secondary level and in higher education, students of all streams like commerce, science, they are also uh, suggested to opt for one of the elective from art stream, like performing art or visual art. So I think I'm done with this. I'm sorry if it was too long. Thank you very much.
No, ma'am, thanks a lot. The length was important to explain I mean, it's very critical to understand the difference between the two. And like you explained, art education is a curriculum, but art integrated learning is a process. Um, so back to you, Ms. Bharatram. As I was saying, it's arts is obviously in the DNA of the Sri Ram chain of schools. And most of your schools are affiliated either to ICSE or even to IB or IGCSE in some cases, if I'm not wrong. Um, can you speak a bit about how art and through that access to local culture and heritage is interwoven into any student's learning at the Shri Ram schools, despite the fact that there's no actual mandate by ICSE? Just knowing how integral this is a part of the process of Shri Ram schools through some examples would be of great help.
Namaste, Abhinav, and thank you for inviting me. Shri Ram School was founded 32 years ago by Mrs. Manju Bharatram, who was very, very clear about the fact that she wanted to create a school where, the different learning needs of each and every child was addressed. And that can only happen when you have a very integrated approach to learning. And when I say that, we all know that there are different types of learners. There are visual learners, there are auditory learners, there are learners who like to work with their hands, some like to write, some like to read. And that could only happen if we had a very strong collaboration happening with the arts. Our family has always been a great supporter of Indian arts, whether it's music, dance, theater, and that is a culture and a philosophy that is a part of the Shri Ram schools. We do have a boundary of the curriculum. We have the learning outcomes, but what we do and how we impart that is totally left to the teachers. And that happens very naturally in CSRS. Of course, there's a lot of teacher training that happens. There are teachers who come from different backgrounds and a different approach to teaching. But that's where Shri Ram School approach comes in, where we invest a lot in our teachers in sort of making them unlearn and relearn the way we want our kids to be educated. Like ma'am said before, experiential learning, right? And how do you do that in a school? You are bound by the curriculum, but it's pretty simple if there is always a conversation happening between all the educators in the school. Something as simple as patterns in maths. Our kids are so innovative. You leave them to creativity and they will come up with a solution and they will learn patterns by creating music. Music is all about patterns. And they would sort of come up with performances where they have learned the topic of pattern and sort of used it for creating music. If you look at Worli art, it's all about shape. So it's calling the craftsmen into the school, exposing them to the Worli art, and then they learn about shapes, In Shri Ram School, all this is possible also because we have a very good collaboration with the parents. Our parents always support us in what we do. The Shri Ram School has been running these series for many years now, almost 12 years, called Mad About series, where we've done Mad About Heritage, Mad About Environment. And all these have been a collaboration with the parents where there has been a mix of environment related to craft, related to science, and the teachers have provided the boundaries and the curriculum, but the parents have taken it forward. As simple as, exposing our kids to foods of India. Our parents drove that, and we had this whole festival where parents cooked the food, got it to school, and there was this whole madness about how different, food all over India is. We do this amazing event in school called Hindi Divas, where Hindi is, of course, the language, where we call authors and poets, but then we even teach them about the sports, the Indian sports like kabaddi, pittu, and we have the craftsmen coming in, we have the parents coming in, and there is education not just for the child, but for the whole community of the Shri Ram School. In senior school, you are a little bit limited by the curriculum, but yet the creativity is left to the teachers to sort of take it forward. If the kids are doing Shakespeare and, our kids have taken up Kathakali dance and enacted it and done Othello. And this was totally done by the children. The script was written by the children. And you have to provide freedom not only to our teachers but to our kids also. They all learn differently. We have something called the form evenings that we have in school, where the script is written by the children, the direction is done by the children. Each and every child has to participate. They have to come up with the artwork. They have to learn how to manage the light and the sound, and they're learning science, they're learning art, they are learning English script writing, and it's all a collaborative affair where the teachers are just the facilitators. They're just holding the children and guiding them. And that it just happens very naturally in the school. And Now with robotics, also we bring in geography where they make model cities through robotics. So it's not just limited to art and craft, but the technology integration is an equal part and an important part of what Shri Ram School does. Our senior kids, the school has always sort of invited craftsmen into our school because we feel that they need to embrace their heritage. And heritage, when I mean, it is not only Indian heritage, but heritage all over the world. But the accessibility to Indian heritage is there. So we constantly have craftsmen coming into our school, and there is so much interest and there is this hunger to learn. Picnic has always been part of Shri Ram School. We have many, many concerts in our school, and the learning happens. If a maths teacher is struggling with a concept in class, she will reach out to the art teacher to support her, or to the music teacher to make sure some rhymes are happening. There is always a collaboration between the teachers to make sure there is integrated learning. In junior school, there is a theme-based learning. So if we are doing water, each and every aspect of the school learning for that particular week will be based on water. So if you go onto the sports field, you're talking about hydration, dehydration, why do you drink water? If you go into the playroom, you will understand what the water does to the clay, how much is enough and how much is, too much. Whether you go into the art class, you would probably work with different natural colors and things like that. How do you mix them? How do you paint? There'll be comprehension passage which would be based on water reading. So there is a curriculum that supports the school, and we've been doing it for last 32 years. We feel that each and every teacher has to contribute to the curriculum. Also, we believe that as a school, our curriculum is a living document. It must change. It cannot remain static. You cannot say this is the way it's going to be. We have to keep reviewing it. So there's a constant effort to revisit it, change it, and then move forward, because learners are changing. Our children are changing. Every batch is different. So you have to keep innovating as teachers. That's Shri Ram School for you. It's in the DNA, and we work very hard, and we're very fortunate to have a fabulous team of educators. One can have a vision, but if you don't have a team that can back it, it really, you can't implement it. So I have to say our teachers are very open-minded. They are learners. We can't expect our teachers to learn if our kids to learn if our teachers are not going to be lifelong learners. And they are constantly learning and innovating and rediscovering themselves and rediscovering what education should be like. So that's Shri Ram School for us.
Thank you, Radhika ji. Just gathering from what Dr. Sudhir had said earlier and what you just mentioned, it seems what's becoming clear is that when we talk of art-integrated learning, it's a name, it's a set of words which we use to denote something which is already very ingrained, possibly in our culture as well, but schools need to remember this and to keep working on this, is that everything is connected in the end, right? Thanks a lot, Radhika ji. My next question would be to Supriti ji. Supriti ji, in an earlier conversation, you spoke about this, and Dr. Sudhir also mentioned this, that arts is a process. It's not an outcome. And typical of a process is the fact that assessment of its outcome is possibly a false indicator of what value it creates for those who are involved in it. You've seen so many schools, you've worked with so many arts programs, cultural programs. My question to you, ma'am, would be, have you actually seen arts programs in schools become subjective and process focused instead of being very, very objective oriented and outcome focused? And if I may add a bit to that question, if yes, if you have seen some schools do that, is there a pattern which tells us what kind of schools are able to do this and what does it take for a school to be able to do that? Ma'am.
Okay, so let me try to answer this. But so, you know, in SPICMA-K, we have an annual convention for school children. And at the convention, we have a workshop which is conducted by great masters of their respective art forms for 5 days. And each day it is for 3 hours. So I'm going to just share a small thing with you before I go on to answering your question fully. And so I live in Bangalore, and from Karnataka, I took a team of nearly 42 students to a school in Chhattisgarh where we were doing this National School Intensive, this convention. And on the first day, one little girl came to me, literally crying and saying, you know, I have been put in the Pandavani class and I don't understand anything because I am from Karnataka, I speak Kannada, I don't understand much of Hindi. And this Hindi that she's talking is very different. I don't know what it is. Be here. Please put me in Kathak. So for a moment, you know, I sort of agreed with her logic and I said, okay, let me see. I tried to convince her, be there. She said, no, I want to be in Kathak. I don't want to go anywhere else. So I went to the Kathak classroom and there were 44 students. The room was already full and the artist had already told us, she said, don't send me a single more student. It's not going to work. So I went back to this girl and I said, no, you're going to learn from Tijan Baiji. She's a great guru and, you know, she will teach you very nicely and you won't know, you know, language is just a thing. No, I don't want to go. But somehow I had no choice. There were other workshops. They were also full. And I decided that this is where she has to be. And I sort of, I won't say bullied her, but pushed her classroom in Pandavani. So day 2 went by, 3 went by, 4 went by. And on day 5, they are all supposed to present in front of everyone, whatever they have learned. So on day 4 evening, I felt somebody pulling me and I looked back and I saw this girl and she's like, Akka, I want to tell you something. I'm going to play the role of Tijan Baiji in the presentation tomorrow. I have to go to the market and I have to go and buy red bangles. She was so excited and she ran away. And I was just like thinking, I said, oh my gosh, how did that happen? Like, this girl is going to play the role of Tijan Baiji on stage, like among another 30 children. But the next day she went and she performed and she was brilliant. And, you know, Tijan Baiji gave her Tanpura, which is a rare thing for an artist to share an instrument with a little young kid. But she did a super job and she performed like a professional, right? So if I look at this story, logically, it didn't fit that I should send her there, that she should go to that workshop. But there was something that pushed her there. And what made her learn, I have no idea. So if I think about it logically, if I analyze it, I don't know what worked, but there is something that worked. And for me, looking at the outcome that she did the presentation so nicely is a smaller thing in the larger story of the process that she went through, right? And the next day, of course, she was so excited. She came and hugged me and she was so like, you know, all cheers to everybody and everything was so wonderful. But what did she go through? What insights did she get? I have no idea. But it could be that she learned that day language is not a barrier. Maybe she needs to be in surrender to allow things to happen to her. Maybe she has to take things as they come. Maybe she doesn't have to resist things. Maybe whatever it is will work out to be for her best. Maybe she has to be in surrender to a great guru, whoever they are, whether they are teaching Kathakali, Bharatanatyam, anything. I don't know what she learned, but I only know one thing. That event left a mark on her, and it's not going to get erased for the longest time. Like it left a mark on me. I've been volunteering for so long. But these are the moments that I think all of us as volunteers hold on to. You know, these are the moments that churn for us energy to do something more. So for me, this process is much more important. And I want to say one thing. Art was always meant for education. Katha kahe so kathak kehlaye. You know, that's what the Kathakars used to do. They used to go around telling stories, educating people, whether it was about Ramayana or Mahabharata, whether it was religious or spiritual, or whether it was historical or political, whatever you see it as, whether it's Kathakali or Bharatanatyam, whether it is the folk arts, they're all telling stories. Whether it's traditional painting done on the walls of mud houses in small villages, they're all telling stories. Whether it's Gond painting, it's telling the story of the forest, of what happens there. They were really meant to educate. Maybe not in a formal manner, like we are doing today in formal education, in schooling, but definitely the purpose of art was to educate, to sensitize, and I think like Picasso says, to inspire. And we will come to that little later. So for me, this process of what happens to a child when they are presented with different aspects of the arts is the more important thing than the learning outcome of better science and better maths. And because I also think that, you know, colors or movement or music, it seems to be less intimidating than logic. I think it is less intimidating. So in the traditional style, when physics and chemistry taught in a very instructional lecture mode, you know, unlike how it's taught today, where it's more collaborative, cooperative, workshop oriented, I think that style was very intimidating. You know, you place the guru there. The guru is not, the teacher is not someone you can joke with and have fun with and play with. And, you know, it's not fun. So the introduction of the arts in AIL, I mean, in this approach, I think this pedagogy has made education less intimidating for the child. And to answer your question, are there any schools which are doing this? Yes, I think there have been many schools for more than 3 decades who have been working on this. Unfortunately, they are called the alternate schools. Unfortunately, you know, they are the schools which have fewer number of children. I think because this approach requires a very teacher time intensive sort of approach. It needs the teacher to invest a lot of time and energy with each and every child. So on a mass scale, to implement this is a real challenge. And that's what I think Dr. Pavan Sudhir is doing, because NCERT has to work with government schools which don't have resources. It has to work with CBSE bigger schools which may have resources, but they are mass factories, 6,000 children, 8,000 children in a school being, you know, how do you work over there? How do you work with children on a mass scale is a different kind of challenge. But for the longest time, we've had many, I mean, if I name some, like the Jiddu Krishnamurti Foundation, we had Rishi Valley schools. In Bangalore, there are lots of schools like that, which have opened up, which have been working on art integrated learning. And the only challenge was that teacher time investment was huge. The requirement of resources was huge. Of course, I think not all teachers are fully equipped to do AIL, because there are teachers who are trained in the traditional mode and they're only regurgitating that. So to coach the teachers, to do teacher training courses and to convert them, to make them unlearn and learn, that itself is another big challenge. I think, I'm sure NCERT has faced before. So yes, there are many schools which are now beginning to adopt AIL because they are finding possibly less dropout rates also. I'm sure Dr. Pavan Sudhir can give us some statistics if she has, because I'm sure in government schools you will find dropout rates are falling. That's just my hypothesis. I don't have data right now, but it's a lovely approach, I think, and we should make sure that it reaches more and more schools.
Thank you, Supriti ji. And in fact, and towards the end, you mentioned that we have had plenty of schools even for working for the last 30, 40 years who have been integrating not just arts, but a variety of disciplines into any form of teaching. And if one may extend, and if one is as brave as to extend it even backwards into the history of Indian education and India as India existed before freedom as well. If you look at our Gurukul systems or our Rishihut systems,
Yeah.
integration was the norm. It's possibly now that the interlude in which we have actually broken things down into silos. But thankfully and hopefully there is this movement towards coalescing of these boundaries all over again. So thank you, Supriti ji, for those very, very important windows into our past, which allow us to move toward the present and to the future. And with that, Dr. Sudhir, I would like to come back to you. And based on what Supriti ji has just said, to ask you a very concrete question again. I don't know why I come to NCERT for concrete answers. When it comes to art integrated learning, when it comes to implementing it in schools very concretely, since NCERT works very closely with CBSE, I would like to ask, for students and for teachers, what are the requirements as mandated by CBSE recently in their circulars in both AIL, art integrated learning, as well as art education? What is it that students, say a student of class 9th or class 10, what is a student supposed to do? What is that person doing in art education? And as part of art integrated learning, what are the kind of projects that a student has to participate in?
Yes, Abhinav, thank you. Actually, looking at art education, they were already doing it as subject. But if you look at the circular, which was uploaded in the month of May 2020, they have put both the things together, art integrated learning as well as art education. Though they try to make it very, they made it very clear to students that when it comes to art education as a subject, class 1 to 10, children are to take it, and their data, their records and reports are to be uploaded. They have created a link and a page, especially with that kind of performer, where every child's learning outcomes, whatever they did in art, because even in art education, we have learning outcomes, art education as a subject. So they will be dealing with art education as a subject from class 1 to 10. So that is very clear to us, and they are following NCERT syllabi for these classes. When it comes to art integrated learning, CBSE introduced this concept last year in 2019. There was a circular to all the schools affiliated to CBSE, and we all know that, and Supriti ji has said this, even Radhika very clearly mentioned that it's not the leader and the concept which works, it's actually the team. If our teachers are not oriented, if our teachers are not understanding what needs to be done, then whatever we say from the top level, things will not happen in our schools. And that's exactly is the issue. When it comes to policies, when it comes to guidelines, because some strong heads will sit together, they'll put things in order in paper, and that will be released. But our teachers' empowerment to handle it, their capacity building doesn't match with the kind of required role is demanded from them.
Right.
So in this kind of circumstances, we know that things will not result the way it is required to. So as far as teachers are concerned, even best of the self-financing schools like DPS, we received a call from them that they want to do to the orientation of their teachers on art integrated learning. Can NCERT help in that? So, and Sri Ram, we know that they have uh, like team of teachers who are doing it. Similarly, there are other schools I won't name, but there are many who are doing it on their own, and they are requesting people that if you can do something for us and all. And in government schools, you know that we don't even have enough teachers. These self-financing schools have good departments in schools of visual and performing art teachers. But in our government schools, either you have one teacher who is also given some period of social science and language teaching, because those are the focus area. This is the ground reality. They are the focus area, so they want their children to uh, uh, pass in those exams with good percentage. So our government school teachers, this write to me, they complained that can you do something to tell our principals not to give us Hindi or social science, because we are here for art and they don't allow us to teach art. So then we write and we are regularly sending circulars. So the problem is with the government sector. Now, the schools, as Supriti ji was mentioning, Krishnamurti के हैं, ऋषि वैली स्कूल है, फिर मदर इंटरनेशनल के साथ मिराम्बिका है. तो इस तरह के स्कूल क्या है कि एक बहुत छोटा नंबर है and is controlled. All kind of facilities are there, and the people who are teaching there, the facilitator, I tell you, if you talk to them, you feel so glad that they understand the concept. Now, on the other side, I see the issues with our government teachers. Even if they are motivated, even if they want to do, there are so many ifs and buts. They are working as clerk, they are working as peon also at times, and they have to do the midday meals and so many things. You see their letters when it reaches us, so many issues are there. But government sector, again, we have to understand that we can't leave it like that, because most of our students are there and they need the orientation. So if we cannot do 100% kind of thing, which I was able to do in 10 days with our teachers, I can give you names of some interior schools in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. The teachers who got national award this time, they got because of art integrated learning. And he was topper from Maharashtra. He is from a Basti school, where when I went for the visit, I was rather scared whether I'm being taken to the right direction or I'm lost somewhere in the jungles. And there is some houses, and I found such a beautiful 2-3 room school, and all children are taught by two teachers, and one of the teacher got maximum score in the national award of government of India. And he's the one who was trained by us on art integrated learning, and he said that this has solved my problem of multi-grade teaching, because one teacher teaching all classes sitting together, how is it possible? And then doing all learning outcome and measuring the competencies and everything. So art integrated learning has come to their rescue. So, Abhinav, if we look at the success stories of government sector also, I have so many, and we can share. Rather, people like us should go and visit how without resources they are doing. General teacher doing excellent job. And as said by Supriti rightly, that not only the dropout rate, but the achievement level has gone so much up. Their confidence level, their socio-emotional development, all things which Radhika beautifully explained, are possible if if our teacher is properly oriented. He or she understands the skill and the need of doing art integrated learning. So what CBSE has done, they also have a challenge with the not with art education but with art integrated learning. So they converted art integrated learning to projects. They have said that from class 1 to 12 art integrated learning has to be there, and they have created those kind of formats and all, but they have made it uh, look very strict for class 10th and 12th. They have said that unless the school uploads the data of particular child on art integrated learning project, he or she will not be able to download the admit card for 10th or 12th. So that this is their part of the circular. So that shows the willingness of CBSE as board, as the biggest board, to make it look serious to the schools, to teachers, to parents, because sometimes teachers are serious, schools are serious because they don't mind following it, but then parents come, they say तुम आप लोग तो जो है वो पढ़ाई की तरफ तो ध्यान नहीं देने देते, और उनके लिए पढ़ाई कुछ और है, art is not पढ़ाई. So, so ऐसे में हमारे लिए जो प्रॉब्लम है, या सीबीएसई के लिए एज बोर्ड जो प्रॉब्लम है, हमारी प्रॉब्लम कम है क्योंकि हम तो डॉक्यूमेंट्स बनाते हैं और एडवाइस करते हैं, वी आर एडवाइजरी बॉडी, बट सीबीएसई इज लाइक दे हैव टू एग्जामिन इट. So they have really created those kind of guidelines. So I hope I'm able to make it clear that art education as subject was there, and they have made it more like clear to all the schools up to 10th standard, and art integrated learning from class 1 to 12, and where they have clearly mentioned that there will be art integrated project in every subject for class 10th students. So whatever are their curricular areas, they have to have one particular project of art integrated learning, which will be internally assessed, and the assessment is to be uploaded. Same is for 12th. And they have said that up to 9th standard, up to 8th standard, not 9th, up to 8th standard, it has to be interdisciplinary project where all subject teachers will sit together. That's what we are recommending also, not to put lots of load on the shoulders of our teachers, rather reduce it by creating or giving more opportunity of comprehension, better comprehension to our students. So we are going for the interdisciplinary project where teachers will sit together with the art teachers, and the project will be designed. Some examples are already given, and these up to 8th standard, they'll go in that kind of guidelines. And we have requested that not individual child, because otherwise they'll bother their parents. It's better that we do it in team of 3 to 4. So during pandemic situation, I don't think that teams are going to work that efficiently. But once our schools open, then the 4 to 5 students together will take that interdisciplinary project, present it. So less load. Plus, when children talk to each other, when they discuss, when they face problem, as Priti rightly said that she was pushed, the child was pushed for a particular art form, and she came as a successful child, learning the art and rather presenting it so well. So when we pose this kind of problem to a group, they learn among themselves, they discuss, and they really sometimes come out with answers which maybe teachers are not able to provide. And now with the internet available, and they have such good, because we are seeing that even primary school children are exploring internet for art integrated learning. We give work with the leaves, and teacher could do only one, but children come with 20 that we made this. And when we ask who told you, your papa or mama, they say no, we saw it on the
Yeah.
mobile. So that is another intervention that is happening even in government schools. So CBSE has really shown the willingness, and schools are taking it further. And this year, like 2021 evaluation will be done based on these guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That actually clarifies a lot of things about why, even though art integrated learning is a process, purely because of incentivizing schools to take this seriously, it is important to add an assessment component to it. And this is exactly the question that Supriti was talking about. How does one do this at scale, right, with a large number of students across the country? So we all hope that that these experiments bear fruit. So before I move on to Radhika ji again to you, we are being flooded, in fact, right now by a number of questions that have come up. We're also running short in time, as always. So very quick questions to both you, Radhika ji and Supriti ji, before we move on to questions. So, Radhika ji, आपसे ये पूछना चाहेंगे कि two things. So one is that both Supriti ji as well as Dr. Sudhir have talked about the importance of teacher training, about not just the capacity and capability, but also the willingness of a teacher to want to do this, right? And Shriram Schools, the Shriram Chair of Schools has a very unique teacher training program. Would you like to talk a little bit about how integral it is to how you work? Starting from your selection right down to actual implementation.
Yeah. So actually, Shriram School has a teacher training program called the 3EP. It doesn't mean that every teacher who's been in TSRS has to go through that program. That program is open to any educator who wants to, become a progressive teacher or a thinking teacher. But at TSRS, there is a very strong and a very well thought out induction program when the teacher comes into the Shriram School. It's a 2-week program. And she is taken through, she sits through many classes to understand when we are talking about this integration, what does it really mean? I mean, what really happens in a class? And you will be surprised when we have the final interview, which is with the board. Most of them say that we didn't know that we were creative. We didn't know that we could teach like this. And it only happens, and I'm not talking about just the Shriram School, but any education institution or any place, you have to provide your team with flexibility to experiment. And they should be able to make mistakes. It's okay. We don't hold it against you, but you have to keep trying, and you have to keep trying to innovate, because each year your class is going to be different. Like I said, they're going to be different kind of learners. So you can't say, I did this in 2016, it should work in 2018 as well. No, it doesn't work, because you have a different bunch of children. So our teachers are always saying that, oh my God, ma'am, I had to study very hard over the weekend. I had to study very hard, because when I walk into my class, I have to be prepared. My children are looking at me. And we often tell our teachers that it's okay if you don't have an answer. Let the child know that I don't have the answer, but tomorrow when I come back, I will have the answer for you. So building a culture of learning is very important, and it can only happen. You can have a great curriculum. You can have the greatest mind working on this great curriculum on education. But if you don't invest in your teachers, if you don't empower them, if you don't take them through that training, you can't transact that curriculum. It really doesn't make sense. And even in our school, we really emphasize on our teachers sharing good practices, because there are some teachers, sometimes you do a history class and it's a magic, it happens. And that's why Friday Stay Back in our school is very important. There's a lot of sharing happening, a lot of good practice sharing is happening, so that we're building on the learning in the school. And collaboration, teachers going to other teachers saying, my math class just didn't work. What do I do? And, there is a whole sort of okay, we can do this, we can do that, we'll reach out to this department, and there is a collaboration. And what your teachers are doing is going to go to your children, because when you're teaching your children to collaborate and work and learn, team building, I mean, these are all the words that are being talked about now. That's how we work. For us, teacher training is critical. We want to invest in our educators, because if you don't do that, you won't be able to transact the curriculum. And I do understand the limitations that the government schools have. We run SRF Foundation, where we work with government schools there. You know, Abhinav, as educators, we have to keep working on the mindset of the teachers. You know, they have to, and it's a process, and you have to work on that process, because they've been taught that it needs to be taught like this. You know, there is no other way. You can't broaden the horizon, and it takes time. So you have to invest. So even in the foundation, we work a lot with our teacher training. We work a lot on that as well, to change the mindset, and it takes time. You have to work on the mindset. It won't happen overnight. So give them the space, empower them, and show that, you know, exposure, traveling really opens up the mind. You know, so we encourage other schools to come to our school to see what we do. You know, we're not saying it's our property, because education should be everybody's property. You know, there should be a sharing happening in education space. And so we encourage other schools to come, and especially the foundation schools, to come and sit in the classes and observe the magic happening. And it happens. So teacher training is critical and very important for any institution, whether it's higher education or the school education.
Thanks, Radhika ji. With that invocation of the education commons, as I can put that, I would move on to Supriti ji. Supriti ji, Radhika ji talked about education as a common property, in fact, as a common pool to which everyone harkens to. My question to you, Supriti ji, is, if I move from education to culture, do you think it's time that we've been speaking of arts education, we are speaking of arts integrated learning, and the way, Supriti ji, you speak of arts, you're not restricting yourself to the visual performing arts or the theater. You're actually talking about Sanskriti or culture, in that not the perfect translation of the word Sanskriti, but somewhere close enough. Is it time for schools to invest in a dedicated cultural curriculum as a process for students to familiarize, to engage, to involve them in hands-on learning, and not just rejection, which sometimes logic can also do, to things that we grow up with, our own culture, our own local contexts? Do you think it's time for something like that to happen for schools as well?
So I totally agree with you. I think it's high time. We should have done it long. High time we did that. So I think the outcome that education must have is not teaching the child that 2 + 2 is equal to 4 alone, but teaching the child that if you could not learn that 2 + 2 is equal to 4, there's still a life beyond that, which is learning to deal with failures, problem solving, having empathy for others, you know, all the other goals, the intangible goals that we have set for education. I believe that happens when you invest time in culture and the arts. And that will happen with arts integrated learning, that will happen with arts education. So I have this favorite phrase of mine, that in India, if we want to distinguish our education style, we have to teach our children ABC, A, E, 1, 2, 3, and Sarega. That's what we need to start focusing on. What will make our education system unique? We are still teaching our children Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, which is a rhyme that came to us from somewhere else. But we are still not able to integrate writers and poets who have written beautiful children's literature into our mainstream literature teaching. We are not able to do that, whether it's Indian writers writing in English, whether it is writing in Hindi, looking at vernacular literature, it's still not getting integrated for some reason. And that is a flaw in the system, because sitting at home, we are leaving out what is really good over here and we're running after something which is so good over there. So आप शेक्सपियर भी पढ़ाइए, आप प्रेमचंद भी पढ़ाइए, आप आइंस्टाइन भी पढ़ाइए, आप घर में आर्यभट्टा भी पढ़ाइए, आप that is the link that I think increasingly we need to focus on and make sure that we do that. So arts curriculum is something which has been a part of a conversation for the longest time, because arts by itself was not considered a lucrative profession to have for a very long time. If you look at all the great gurus that have brought classical arts and folk arts to mainstream, they struggles in their life. But at that point, their requirements were also not much. Their children could go to some school and study because उनको तो घर में ही रियाज करना होता था. आजकल के जो आर्टिस्ट हैं उनको सब कुछ मेंटेन करना है, अपना सोशल मीडिया स्टेटस, अपना लाइवलीहुड, इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस, बड़ी गाड़ी भी होनी चाहिए, अच्छे कपड़े भी होने चाहिए, बात करने का स्टाइल भी होना चाहिए, एक मैनेजर होना चाहिए, एक टीम होनी चाहिए टू हैंडल देयर साउंड एंड इक्विपमेंट एंड एवरीथिंग. देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ paraphernalia and expenses that an artist comes with today if they want to project themselves as successful. And I'm using these words very consciously. It's about projecting. So today, yes, it seems like big business. Yes, I also have the security of the good economic foundation my parents have given me. And so many young people are thinking of moving forward and taking this as a profession. So that's giving more scope and more space to having a dedicated arts curriculum. You find a lot of small academies focusing on just one art or just one kind of movement. They're focused on movement, or they are focused on classical dance or on classical arts, or they're focused on the folk arts. You find a lot of young people who are beginning to showcase young folk artists. So yes, I think high time that we picked arts curriculum and put it where it deserves to be. It needs to get a lot more focus, a lot more support. Also from the government, I think there should be more robust policies and processes that the government must bring in to push this agenda. I mean, in SPICMA-K, we have often talked about this, that we want to bring the teaching of the classical arts into the mainstream curriculum, not only after the 10th standard, but right from the beginning. And that's why I'm saying, when the child is learning ABC, if now we are doing arts integrated learning, we can start teaching the child Sarega also. In fact, Dr. Seth has experimented with that in a nursery school. He made a little train with children, and he taught them Sarega, and then he asked them to sing, and they were able to. So it's about what we teach the children, the pedagogy that to get utilized in the primary school, in the Montessori nursery primary school. That itself has to change, and then when that changes, it will evolve into much better curriculum at university level, etc.
Right. Thanks, Supriti ji. I will quickly move on to the number of questions that have come in. We're already over time. Don't want to take too much of the time of everyone. I'll go through them one by one, and if they're addressed to any panelists in particular, I would request them to take this question. The first question is from Chetna. Chetna ji asks, and this is to the entire panel, if any of you who wishes to answer can take this up. Are there any researches in the effect and impact of theater arts in school children in the Indian context? So I think the question is there any study which shows how theater arts in school children in the Indian context, what are the effect and impact of something like that. So Preeti, is that something that you would like to take on?
I may not be able to quote research immediately. Maybe I can share it with you later. So I'm not able to recall exactly which paper I should be able to quote to you. But I know that there is a lot of work that has been done on the impact of theatre on learning outcomes. And I'm sure if we searched for that, we will find enough data.
Sure, thanks, Supriti.
There is a curriculum which is called Theatre in Education. And, you know, a lot of issues can be addressed. Many schools address issues faced by children through theatre. It becomes like a circle time. This is a fancy word of using, but theatre in education, Nukkad Natak, these are all very powerful tools which schools should use to address issues which are related to the society or to their own anxiety. And it is a very, very powerful tool. We all know theatre brings out issues which you would be feeling, which are getting suppressed. So it's a very, very powerful tool to use in schools to address even bullying. You know, if you have a bullying happening in a batch, or it is mental health like we were discussing before. And there are a lot of research which has been done to address that.
Thanks, Radhika ji. Radhika ji, actually, there's a question for you as well. Is this teacher training that you were talking about, is it available online for teachers of other schools?
It's an online virtual world now, Abhinav. So yes, we have gone online, and we have, we actually call them students, not teachers, students who are from all over India. It is, initially it was of course a Delhi-based teacher training program. It's called the TEP. I will send you the information about it. And yes, we are on virtual online mode now. So everything is online. So it's, anybody can sort of join. So yes, we do have that course learning online now.
Sure, thanks Radhika ji. And also to anyone else who might have such questions where follow-up is required, please drop us an email and we'll request our panelists to answer these questions later as well. And just scrolling through the questions, there's another question which, and I think I will address this to you, Dr. Sudhir. There are a bunch of questions around art-integrated learning. The first is there any specific training program for AIL for teachers?
Yes, there is. I have shared the picture of package. There is a well-planned package which is there on our website, and any school can go for those kind of training programs. There are training programs under Nishtha also. I refer to this 4 to 5 hours package that is also on our website, where integration is done, and what our teachers need to learn about art integrated learning is there.
Thank you, ma'am. In fact, we have actually also shared the links to the books that you had shown us already in the chat windows. We'll also dig up the link for the training material under Nishtha and share it.
Yeah. Because Nishtha has a special portal also, but you can also go through NCERT website, and all our Nishtha material, which is with this pedagogy, is available there.
Thank you, ma'am. In fact, there's a related question, ma'am, which actually is open for all three because it encompasses everything that we're talking about. This is by Radhika. Radhika ji asks us, schools as well as parents focus, sorry, I think this is the wrong question. Just give me a second. Yes, this is by Harsh Narayan. Do you think teachers of various subjects such as science, social science, maths, etc., learning various art forms or workshops like exposure will make them a better teacher? Just as we are talking about integrated learning for students, what does integrated learning do to teachers? I think that's a brilliant question.
I think, yes, I mean, I'm going to take that up immediately.
Radhika and so can go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I taught at the National Law School for the longest time, and there was something called cooperative teaching, where we would have a political scientist, a sociologist, an economist, a historian, a constitutional lawyer, all in the classroom together, teaching the students a subject, like say land reforms or poverty in India or something like that. And we would all present our perspectives and have students argue with us and things like that. But that was in the beginning. Slowly, that developed, for example, my interest to read something about and to get to know a lot more about this subject about this topic in the other subjects. And going through workshops and opening up your mind to new information, new knowledge is definitely useful. For, like Radhika said, teachers are also learners, they are students. And if teachers are in that mode that they do want to learn more, I think interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary study or integrated learning, these are all different aspects of the same thing, I think. It is very exciting, actually. And I'm sure if you did workshops like this for teachers, they would love to internalize this.
We often get told by our teachers, we didn't know we had this hidden talent, that we were singers, that we could rhyme. And, we all have creativity in us. It's just, you need to have the space and the encouragement from the school to bring that out. So yes, it's equally important for our teachers to embrace and, learn and find that creative free in themselves. And it happens, and we encourage it. They might not sing in tune, but they sing and they get the point across, and the kids love it. So yes.
And I think that's so important, because for teachers, there can't be stagnation. If teachers are not excited about what they are teaching, they won't be able to transmit and infect the students with that excitement. And their job is to infect the students. In this case,
very well said. Yes, yes. Totally.
So it's very important for teachers to go through that.
I would just like to add a few things, because what Radhikaji or Spritiji said is the thing. But in the question, they said whether the impact of their teaching or their performance will improve. Yes, very much. We have studies on this. Rather, if you open these documents, you will find all kind of studies which very clearly says that subject teachers, like teachers of science, mathematics, and social sciences, enjoyed doing art integrated learning more than our art teachers. Rather, there was hesitation from art teachers because they are trained in particular art form to a level where they think that we are making joke of art, because we tell them that the product is not important and process is important. It takes me more time to orient our art teacher than orient and motivate our subject teachers. They are more passionate now, and they like it. They have become lively. They say that it has made our work more easier. Children can talk to us. Earlier, because of our subject, like mathematics teachers especially, the teachers were saying that the children are scared of us. They don't want to share things with us because of the subject that they are into. But now when they started with art integrated learning, and they see that it's not that every time teacher is saying, no, this is wrong, this is wrong. Rather, teacher is encouraging children, and they are playing together, they are dancing, they are making orchestra out of waste material and all, and they all laugh, they have hearty laugh. So it's a very good question that the person has asked. It's very interesting and very, very effective method for the subject teaching and for the subject teachers.
If I can just add one more thing, I think happy teachers make happy school and happy children. And that only happens when the teachers are happy doing what they're doing. It's very important for our teachers to feel happy when they come to work, because only then can you create an environment which is of learning. And like ma'am said before, that kids must enjoy what they learn. So that will only happen if you have happy teachers, and happy school will actually create a good, happy next generation. That is very, very critical.
Right. And in fact, now that Radhika ji, and through this question, we kind of addressed the second main constituency or the second main stakeholder apart from students. The third is obviously also the parents. And the Shri Ram schools have also taken care of involving parents. You gave the example of Foods of India. You also have the Silver Surfer program. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go into this right now. We're getting a bunch of questions around that and around the current coronavirus situation that we are part of. There are two categories of questions. One is that students, that we're talking of art integrated learning, which common sense would say, and I'm quoting one of the questions, common sense would say, is best done by students in unison in a physical space. So the first set of questions, and I'm combining them all, is asking, how does technology, is technology coming in the way? Or is technology actually helping in art integrated learning?
You know, there is an issue, okay, and we need to address it in the best possible way. But I am just surprised how kids embrace technology. At least I'm talking about my own, the Shri Ram school. Our kids, I'm sure you must have heard of the Boston Tea Party, right? Our kids actually in their home shot the whole, like a play, put it all together, all online, and presented it to the class. See, creativity is not, it can happen anywhere. When the lockdown happened, markets were shut and kids had to do their projects in art. So what did the teacher do? She said, haldi lo, mehndi lo, ghar mein tumhare paas aur kya colors hain? We're going to make natural colors and the artwork will happen. So, you know, even with the lockdown, we are reinventing the curriculum. We are trying to figure out how can we enable our teachers and our students to learn best. Our kids are just amazing. We had an online student council election. They created it. We just finished with Shri Debate, which was online, which was an international event. We are having MUN online. So, you know, they love technology. In fact, it's the other way around. The teachers have to quickly learn and figure it out how to enable that learning. They're very quick. They're doing all these songs and creating rap songs, shooting it in their homes, and then somebody in their batch knows how to put it all together. They're putting it together and learning is happening. So again, you know, creativity is all there. It's how you sort of make it happen for the children is the most important. And our kids are just very creative. And I'm not just saying it for Shri Ram School, I'm saying it for children in general. You give them a problem, they'll come with a solution. They will come with a solution. You have to just give them time and they will come up with something that will work.
A follow-up question to that, Radhika ji, which has just come up, is also the fact that, yes, students are definitely very creative, but on the part of the teachers themselves, there is a learning curve which is to be had. For instance, when Dr. Sudhir talks of assessment-linked project activities under VIL, there are certain outcomes which still have to be achieved. Now, two categories of schools and teachers. One is the ones, I mean, broadly, if I take it very, very binary, in a binary fashion, one with access to decent amount of resources, the other not. And internet has become a very controversial resource, which is linked to privilege, which is linked to where one is. So two questions. Number one, and that's to Dr. Sudhir as well. In these times when technology is being seen as a way of reaching a large number of students, but you see that even in DU, when online examinations were proposed, there was a lot of protest by the teachers themselves, and understanding that it's an access problem. How does one deal with this in these times? Does technology, how are government schools dealing with it at this point, if they are already engaging in art integrated learning in particular?
Yeah. Yes, Avina. It's actually a tough situation, and we are finding ways. You must have seen the documents which was released recently by the Honorable Minister of HRD, and that is alternative calendar of different areas. So we prepared on art integrated learning also. We are facing this problem of internet. Even children of our village schools and small town, or even in big towns, but you know that they are from that below poverty line, and this all, they come to the government schools. They do not have devices, they do not have even mobile. If one of the parent has one mobile, and if internet data is over, they are not able to recharge it, because you know the kind of situation the society is living. So every day we are facing these issues. So what we have done, under Swayam Prabha, we have tied up, or rather is already happening, that all kind of channels, TV channels, are supporting. And we know that even in villages, these TV channels are being, like, that's not an issue. So families do watch TV. So we are running our programs based on that. There are live session in all subject for all classes. Now we have taken 12 channels, where class 1 to 12, they'll be dedicated channel class wise. And particular agency like Rotary clubs, they have taken up the initiative. They are the bridge in between. And we are trying that through this TV channel, we reach to even those children where the gadgets are not there and they do not have internet connectivity. We are also starting a community radio, so that because radio is a possible medium for this kind of situation. So we are thinking of that. Rather, things are quite ahead in the implementation side. Government, central government is quite bothered about this, and we are talking to the state governments to go ahead with this. But our CBSE schools like Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya Vidyalayas, we are finding very less issues, because you know they are the schools where the facilities are not that much a problem. But with the government schools, we are facing issues. So, but our online programs are happening. The other part of the question was that whether it's possible to conduct art integrated learning online. Yes, uh, we are doing it successfully now. Though I myself was hesitant in the beginning, because the first sessions were taken by me, live sessions for elementary level. So even I was thinking, how there is no audience in front of us, and we want to do demonstration, we want to do the art experiences. How do we do it? But I tell you that it was quite interactive. Like here we are getting questions, there we were getting feedback through chats. It is simultaneously on so many channels, and also it is on YouTube. And there is a phone in program, so children can phone, their parents were making calls. Rather, there was more feedback of, for the like positive feedback for art integrated learning. They said, why don't you do, because we are doing once a week, one music, one visual arts, theater, like this we are going. They said, why can't you do this when you are teaching all subject through this? Why don't you do it every day? So we are getting those kind of feedback also. But of course, as Radhika said, that is something which will take time. Is this kind of change is difficult for us also. I am learning myself. I feel that younger generation is able to pick up faster. We people, like I am in my 60s now, so there are many issues. Sometimes, like when my electricity went off, for few seconds I was off from here. I was really getting panicky. I tell others not to, but I was getting panicky. I was struggling with my mobile, that how to connect now. And I find I find that our younger generation, those my junior project fellows and all, they are so confident. If I have to do a one presentation, they are the one who come to my rescue. They will connect everything. वो चला दिया, ये चला दिया, वो चला दिया. We are taking more time. So the same is with our system in states. with the government schools, that our teachers are slightly hesitant. They are taking their own time to explore it. So NCERT is into it. That's why from the center side, we are giving all kind of online support and online sessions every day. Every day it is there. And if somebody wants to see from the viewers, you can on YouTube, you can just click at NCERT official, and all kind of live sessions which are now available in recorded section will be available. So you can explore even art integrated learning sessions there along with other subjects. Yeah.
In fact, thank you, Dr. Sudhir. In fact, that was the next question. Along with this YouTube channel, is there any other website, and I'm being asked, is there any website where we can get a chance to see different types of models or demos of art integrated learning?
Yes, for that you have to go to Nishtha, because Nishtha has gone to subject teachers, because we are not training only art teachers. Art teachers are few in number, but all teachers are either the block level resource persons or our teachers who are teaching different subjects. So since they are given this and they are very much motivated and passionate to make their subject interesting, because that works. When we say that it will make your subject interesting, then they go for it. So they are coming out with small videos of their classes. They are doing wonderful videos, and if individually I have to do, I can do it through you. I'll pass it on to you. But Nishtha is one portal where you'll get everything. Other possible sources, NROER, which is our national repository, and now we are working on Diksha. Very soon, like say from July, Diksha is going to be more active, because everything from the states. So in all languages, you will find materials there, videos there, and from national level also all kind of support and material, whatever we are developing, everything digital is going to Diksha. So Diksha is another person. So Diksha and ROER and
Nishtha.
Nishtha.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll share the links with all the panelists. The final two questions. This is a very interesting question by Amrita Shruti. Amrita asks, she says, understanding art is not bereft of the artist, but that seems to be missing in understanding this approach of AIL. I think it's an important question of talking about the content, but not of the person who's delivering the content. Can anyone say a comment on that? Supriti ji, would you like to say something on that?
I would say that art education would focus a lot more on the artist and the artist's journey. And in AIL, maybe because the outcome or the purpose is little different, maybe we are putting that aside and focusing more on the art. However, having said that, I think that it's possible to also bring in the artist as a person who's gone through his own journey, even in AIL. And I'm going to say one thing here. In AIL, what I have seen until today, there's a lot of utilization of the visual arts. So there's a lot of drawing, sketching, painting, also drama, theater. But when you come to the performing arts, the fine arts, the classical arts, I find that missing a little bit. So if you look at mathematics, it's a subject that many students find very tough. But if you look at the classical arts, especially percussion and rhythm, tal, you will find that there is a lot of math in that. So in Carnatic music, for example, we refer to it as konakol, जो बोल बोलते हैं ना, जब तबला बजाते हैं या पढ़ंत करते हैं, तो उसको konakol बोलते हैं Carnatic music में. And you have many young mridangists, senior mridangists, who will tell you how much maths there is in it. So we have done workshops even in SPICMA-K of konakol, and it's amazing. It's an eye-opener for people to see the connection between maths and konakol or percussion. So when you are going to engage with an artist who is able to make you see that, then I think your connect to an artist will change. You will begin to relate to the artist differently. Whereas when there are teachers who are your regular teachers, when they are, trying to introduce something through an arts stream, I'm not sure that connect is happening because you're already relating to the teacher as a teacher and not an artist. So when you bring in special artists to come and to introduce something in your subject, maybe as guest lectures, maybe as something else, I think the connect with the artist as the carrier of that knowledge and tradition will upgrade in the mind of students.
Thank you,
Can I
Smriti ji.
add something?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. प्रीति जी ने जो कहा मैं उसी को आगे बढ़ाते हुए, she rightly said that in art education there is more scope. I would like to tell that not only the scope we take is in our curriculum, is in the syllabus, that artists and artisans are part of our studies in art education. But even in art integrated learning, we are sensitive to that. But how much our schools are able to do that story, we don't share much, because it again depends on the school authorities and also the interest of teacher. But I do have some example to share, that we have stories of calling kite makers in Delhi. यहाँ पुरानी दिल्ली से, और 15 अगस्त से पहले वो वर्कशॉप कराते हैं बच्चों के साथ, और बच्चों को उसके माध्यम से टीचर, क्योंकि they will not explain, they are just working with that artisan who is national awardee. उसको हमने यहाँ NCERT में भी बुलाया था, हमारा सारे टीचर्स का एक फाउंडर्स डे पे वर्कशॉप होता है, तो उसमें हमने उसको बुलाया, वो अपनी पूरी फैमिली के साथ आके यहाँ सबके साथ काइट बनाया. Even our director did the kite flying and all, everybody was enjoying, it was मेला kind of thing. तो हमने ये बताया कि ये मैथ्स और फिजिक्स का कितना बड़ा काम है, और जो हमारे मैथ्स और फिजिक्स के प्रोफेसर हैं, they intervene in this and they explain to the teacher and teacher were very happy. So हम इस तरह की चीज़ें करते रहते हैं, और इसी तरह से विजिट्स पे हम लेकर के जाते हैं. हर बार जरूरी नहीं स्कूल समझते कि हम किसी को बुलाएं, because when you call you have to pay the remuneration, and that is mandatory because you can't call them just like that. So we have also organized our school visit to their workplaces. We have taken them to classical dancers. हमारे यहाँ से, हम दिल्ली में तो ये चीज़ें बहुत पॉसिबल हैं और हो रही हैं. So yes, in art integrated learning there is a great scope. Rather in mathematics there is more scope. In science there is more scope. And we are also calling people from the immediate community like parents. यदि पेरेंट्स में किसी को जैसे हमारे जो सरकारी स्कूल हैं तो बिहार के बच्चे बहुत हैं, तो बहुत सारी ऐसी महिलाएं और पुरुष हैं जो मधुबनी पेंटिंग वाले जो परिवार हैं उनसे बिलोंग करते हैं. तो हमारे यहाँ कुछ ऐसे भी स्कूल हैं जिन्होंने मधुबनी स्कूल में करवाई पेरेंट्स को बुला करके, एंड दोज चिल्ड्रन हैव रिटर्न के हमें लगता था कि हमारे मम्मी पापा को एजुकेशन का कुछ नहीं आता. जब हमारी हेड मैम ने हमारी मम्मी को बुला करके कुर्सी पे बिठाया तो हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा. So sometimes even small gestures of this kind in our government schools make lots of change. So art integrated learning doesn't restrict us to subjects. It rather takes us to the community, the artisan communities, but it again depends on the interest and the like availability of funds or whatever with the schools. But it is very much part of it. If you read the document, you will see that arts and artists both are covered in that. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Sudhir. With that, we'll close the questions from the audience. If any of the panelists want to ask each other any questions, I would just let this Please go ahead.
More than a question, I would like to compliment and appreciate both my co-panelists. They are excellent. Radhika, when you were speaking, I really felt like listening to you more and more. Same as Kriti. And I think I have learned few things, and I'm more motivated to get this kind of expression from the field and from such authorities who are running chains of schools. And you are not just training and doing the capacity building for your own school, but you are doing for others also, because Sri Ram has a very strong training center. And in mathematics and in science, we keep on seeing the work that you are doing. So nice to have you here, and you both enriched my learning also, and I think it was a great panel. Same for the Supriti, because PICMACA is a huge resource for all of us, Yeah.
For me personally, it was a very interesting learning experience, and I've gone back with so much knowledge about what NCERT is doing, and it's going to help the schools that we run in the foundation, and even the blind school that I'm part of. So I'm looking forward, and I'm feeling enriched, and it was just lovely listening to both of you. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, because I was telling Abhinav, I said, you've called the doyen of AIL. So if Dr. Pawan Sudhir talks, तो उनके बाद हम क्या बोलेंगे, हमारे पास कुछ बचेगा नहीं बात करने के लिए. Because I've known of her work for a very long time, and being from academics, had an interest in that. But yeah, it was great, and great reconnecting here with Radhika also. And this is, I think, whatever work schools do when they share openly like this, I think that it does inspire others, and it gives confidence to others to also experiment and try it out. And like you said, it's important to share resources openly. That's a beautiful part, especially in education. I think we should keep the competition low and the collaboration high.
Yes. I just a comment that if what pandemic is going to do to education in India, especially rural India, and especially girls' education, and it really needs to be addressed. And if we don't collaborate, and if we don't share, and if we don't talk openly about it, all the work that has happened for the last 20 years, especially for girls' education, will go back. So it's very important for us to share, talk about it, create collaborations, because education and healthcare are the critical foundation of any country. So it really needs to be addressed and taken forward. So happy to share and happy to collaborate anytime.
Same here. Thank you very much. And thanks a lot, Abhinav, for bringing us together. Of course, that here there's a time limit. We will continue our discussion and sharing, and wherever is possible through government platform and individually. I'm for this wherever I'm required, either by the Sri Ram or with PICMACA, and wherever, and of course Sahapedia. My commitment is for the community, and you call anytime, I'll be available. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Supriti ji. Thank you, Radhika ji. Thank you all the audience for your questions. I would obviously like to thank all the panelists for sharing their experiences and their time with us. It's obviously been an educative discussion. And as we had mentioned earlier, this is going to be a series of discussions. And Radhika ji, I think you've given us a cue for possibly one of our follow-up discussions, which could be on the impact on girls' education and how art-integrated learning can possibly look at that very, very specifically in these times.
Fabulous.
I think that will be a great discussion to have.
Yeah, great.
Shukriya.
Thank you so much.
बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Abhinav. Dhanyavad.
Thank you. And to all the people who attended, if you have any more questions, we'll be sending out an email soon to all of you. If you have any questions for the panelists, you think we should have addressed, we did not address, you did not get the answers you wanted, we'll try and reach out to the panelists and get answers to your questions. And any links that have been shared during this, any resource material, we'll share this with you as well. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe.
Namaskar. Thank you.